Hey team, so a little bit different change in schedule actually threw me off a little bit. Uh, Having the second team huddle on Friday versus Thursday. Um, Seems that that some of the programs that I'm trying to sign up for. I guess Thursday's a popular day for them. I don't know, but maybe we'll try something next week. We'll go to Mondays and Wednesdays, and see if that doesn't create a little less hassle. Kick off the week with it, and maybe use it to help get over the hump day. And everybody's already got their mind, especially being Memorial Day. So we'll work on that, and you know maybe not too many of us are able to make it live, but so maybe we'll just plan on having them posted and available on those days throughout the week. But anyway, enough rambling. Straight into it. Today's theme, today's topic, rethinking the workday. And in this, we one of the previous team huddles was kind of discussing routines and kind of the importance of it. And so this is slightly different, dive a little bit deeper, because those routines that we were referring to were around other parts of the day, right? When you wake up, go into bed, those workouts, those types of things. And this actually, the idea for it actually stemmed from a conversation with a close friend, colleague, recently, in things that they had observed, not just in themselves, but also in their families and significant others who, of course, we're all in the same workspace right now. So the biggest thing was, about of course, us being involved in sports and everything. Think about the work day being broken up the same way that our games or that our actual sport is. So, the probably the biggest thing, and most obvious thing is to define your kickoff time and define your halftime. For a lot of us, it's typically 8, 9 o'clock. Maybe if you work remote, if you're independent contractor, you got a little more flexibility with it. But go ahead and set the start clock at to go off. Whatever time it is, 8:30, 9 o'clock. But set your halftime 11:30, 12 o'clock, whatever it is. Hey, middle of the day, I'm walking away, right? But we've all heard so much, time and time again, at least recently, about set aside certain spaces of the house for your work, and whenever that halftime buzzer goes off, or whenever the clock strikes 11:30 or whatever your halftime is, then get up and make sure you leave that space, right? Go to the quote unquote locker room at halftime. Maybe that's the kitchen. Hang out in there. Make sure that you remove yourself from work if at all possible. Leave your computer, leave your phone, or just commit yourself to, maybe turn off your email if you're getting pinged a lot from work stuff. Make sure that whatever you're doing during that quote unquote halftime period is for you, or whatever it is that you need to dedicate during that halftime. Right. A lot of times, for us in the team environments, our half times have a couple of key objectives. Right. First and foremost, get the athletes recovered. Right. Get them revived. Okay. Get something in them. Maybe it's some fruit or something to kind of spike the energy levels. And then of course, review. Right. Get them prepped for what they're doing next. So do the same thing with yourself, right? At halftime, take the first 5 minutes, close your computer. Maybe you just take the first 5 minutes and just breathe and just meditate, right? Just appreciate not having any stress, I'm trying to think of the fancy terms, but any responsive stuff, anything flashing that's kind of creating more brain stimulus. That's the word I'm looking for. Take the first 5 minutes for that, right? And then 25 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever you got left, then get into your food, enjoy it, get outside, do a lap around the house, right? Get the vitamin D. Again, that second part of team half times is to revive or re-energize. So, walk out and get the paper, get the mail, again, do a lap around the house. If you got the, dog, cat, pet, whatever, take it out and play with it for a few minutes. Just something to kind of energize yourself. Because again, it's way too easy right now that everything at home starts to look the same, right? Everything starts to look like the dining table looks like the office and the dining table, and make sure that so it's hard that like our brains just become attuned to everything kind of blending together as opposed to keeping its the things separate. So make sure you're doing that, and then of course, when you get into the second half of the day, have another plan for that. I know some folks, I use kind of an adjustable desk. So, I might try and stand up more in the morning, and then after the lunch break, I've got my chair and I'll drop it down and sit for a little bit. Maybe I only stand for certain activities. Again, maybe if it's things that are a little bit less thought provoking, maybe it's just, copy and paste or data input, something like that. Maybe I'll stand up for that. But if it's things that, I need to be a little more kind of focused, for me, sometimes it's easier just to do that sitting down. And I don't mean sitting down as being lazy. I mean, actually, in the chair. So, and then same thing, right? Have that kind of, if we're using, football terms, right? Have that fourth quarter mentality of, okay, transitioning from third to fourth quarter, what's the score, quote unquote. I'm not saying, keep track and hold yourself to it or whatever, but just say, hey, what else do I have to do in the day, right? It's 2:00. I'm shutting down at 4:30. What else do I need to do to make sure that today's a win, to make sure that I'm successful today, right? Or that I'm making progress, dedicate time to that. And then of course, you get the hard cutoff, right? 4:30, the day is done, and just like your game, hey, can't go back and change it. Can't replay that last play. Yeah, you can edit your emails and those sorts of things, but once you walk away from it, make sure that, the game is over, so to speak. So I thought that was real interesting, or a real interesting concept was, or just a way to phrase it was rethinking the workday. We talked about rethinking our workouts and everything else. I'm sure a lot of students, of course, college students don't have to worry about it as much right now. Finals are done, but the high school students that are coming into their exams, I'm sure you're probably into your routine by now, but again, just rethinking what that day looks like, right? We talked, Jesus, probably one of the first team huddles, we talked about, we had the image of the 24-hour athlete and how, just with the regular routine that there's certain times of the day that are better for certain activities. Earlier in the day might be better for more thought-provoking, around midday, just after lunch is better for coordination. I think it was, well, at least by that model, later in the afternoon, like maybe, somewhere between 4 to 6 was like max strength. So for me personally, right, anything that's thought-provoking, that's going to take creativity or whatever, it's better for me to knock that out before lunchtime. And so maybe rather than just having a long, to-do list, maybe, sort out what does that to-do list look like? What's just action items versus what's going to take some thought and a little more kind of focus, right? And then break up your day that way. Same way. A lot of teams, they're going to go in, hey, first quarter, we're going to feel it out, right? We've got our script. We're going to follow our script in the first quarter. It's going to give us a chance to see how our game plan executes against the opposition or in that environment. It's going to give us a chance to see how they respond. All right, same kind of thing. Early in the morning, if you're more creative in the mornings, then knock all that out. Have that script for, create my social media post or writing my blog or the big emails, that I have to send out to clients or customers or whoever it is. Get those knocked out early, and then as the rest of the day goes on, you can kind of free your mind a little bit and have a little less stress in terms of not trying to push creativity. I know that's one of the things my wife with her project or projects, very, very creative. Takes a lot of thought, and as she always says, you can't put a timeline on this stuff. You never know how long it's going to take you of trial and error to figure out what's the right color scheme or imaging or whatever. So again, doing that stuff, having a set time in the day to knock out that stuff, and of course, if that's the first thing you're doing, if you got to come back and edit, or let's say you go to halftime, right? You go to your lunch break, and you come back afterwards, you check out that creative work that you were doing. Again, it gives you just kind of a clear, fresh mind, going, getting a second look at it. Right. So that's the big thing. Not much more to really cover on that, but it's just, again, rethinking or reframing our workday. Think about it as a true game approach, or as a true match mentality of, okay, we're going to segment it out, quarters, periods, hockey fans, with 3 periods, however you want to do it. But again, give yourself some timeouts as well. Whatever it is, if you want to limit it to 3, if you want to just phrase it as a timeout, okay, every hour, hey, I'm taking a 5-minute timeout, get up, go for a walk. Maybe schedule it as a fight or a boxing match. Hey, we're going to break up the day into 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever it is. One round is 40 minutes. Then I'm going to take 10, 15 minutes of a break to just kind of refresh and recoup. It's kind of reminds me of the story. There was the wood chopping crew that was up in the Canadian tundra, and every summer they would have a competition, and they had old Bill, who was just the veteran. He was the legend. He was always going up against the college students who were there for the summer, and they started at first whistle blew at 7 in the morning, and the final whistle blew at 5 or 6 that evening, and all the big strapping strong college guys thought, man, we're just gonna lick our way through it. Whoever can get it the fastest, whatever is gonna win. And they noticed that old Bill, as soon as the first whistle blew, he just went straight into the tool shed. Apologies for the background noise, but went straight into the tool sheds. Probably spent the first 30 minutes in there. Comes out, goes chopping for about hour and a half. Goes back into the tool shed. Comes back about 30, 45 minutes later. Chops for another hour, something like that. He continues on with that routine. All the other guys are thinking, man, old Bill's just going back to the tool shed. He's taking a nap. He's sleeping. Whatever. We're working. We're gonna smoke him. And at the end of the day, long story short, they announced the winner. It's old Bill, and big uproar. What do you mean he's taking a nap every hour and a half, 2 hours? We're out there working our tails off. How could he have won? And he said, well, fellas, that's your problem. You thought I was going and taking a nap. All I was doing was just going and sharpening my axe. You guys are working 5, 6 hours straight through, never sharpen your axe. By the end of the day, you got a dull blade, and mine's fresh as can be. So think about that as well. Going through your work day is, don't keep pushing through it. You get that mid-afternoon kind of fatigue. You're falling asleep on your computer. You're typing a bunch of K's or L's that you got to delete in the email. That's just, use that as a sign of, all right, you know what? I'm not going to push through this. Time to get up, go for a walk, and refresh. Take your halftime break. Think about what is that halftime routine. Again, just take a few minutes to relax, refresh, meditate if you want to, take some deep breaths, revive yourself, whether it's, food or something to drink, something like that. And then, just get out and enjoy it. Go for a quick walk, right? Vitamin D. I'm not going to get into the supplements and all that stuff, but, get out, get some sunshine, get some fresh air, get your mind off of it, and then come back fresh and finish off the second half. So that's it. Huge shout out to Mr. Durant. I'm way out of my place, probably talking too much about this. I saw your video that you shared, that you created. a while back for all the first responders there in Boston. So kudos to you, and thanks for all you're doing to help them, for all the teams that you're helping as well or have helped. I know you've been a huge influence, and somebody that I've watched and appreciated for a while. So it means a lot to me that you even tune into this. But again, hope you and your family are well, and appreciate all that you're doing. And Coach Benny, thanks for tuning in as well, bud. Hope this helps you and helps some of your athletes up there in Michigan. But that's it for today. Have a great weekend. All right, enjoy Memorial Day. Thanks to all those who are or have served. And enjoy this time. Just because we still got to stay distant and isolated doesn't mean we still can't enjoy it and be appreciative for what we do have. So, just like rethinking the workday, we got to rethink our holidays as well. And again, we can still make something of it. So, enjoy it. Take care, and we'll catch up with more next week.